Well, it's hot and sticky in Ontario. I'm meteorologist Jaclyn Whittal, breaking down not only the pattern and when we get rid of the heat, but why we have so much heat. This is what it looks like out there, or it feels like. Feels like the sun is burning our skin, doesn't it? Hot and muggy conditions, all because of the Bermuda high, we can thank, bringing in all these sticky conditions. And it's not until a system moves in from the northwest on Thursday, Friday that we get into a round of severe weather, and it'll also kind of wash out the atmosphere and cool us down. So look forward to that by the weekend. That's good news. Now, earlier, if you joined me on the web, you may have heard me talking about this map. This is the big area that was affected in the 2003 blackout in Ontario and part of the States. Now, I asked the question, was it caused because the grid was overused by air conditioning? I mean, you know, it is in the middle of the summer. No, it was actually caused by a software bug in the alarm system in Ohio. That's how it all began. And so many people were without power on that. So a reminder, though, that we don't want to overuse the grid. We certainly don't want a brownout or a blackout. Another thing to keep in mind, of course, is the animals in the cars and, you know, making sure your animals are hydrated. I talk a little bit about something called albedo. Albedo is the percentage of radiation that is reflected back to the sun. I know that sounds heavy, but just think about it like this. Fresh asphalt has a 0.04% chance of reflecting the heat back. So it has a low albedo, and that's why hot pavement gets as hot as it does. It burns your feet, right? If you think of the Arctic, we have ice. It has a very high albedo, so a lot of that heat is reflected back off the snow and back into space. So what I'm getting at here is that when you're in the city of Toronto, it feels that much hotter because look at all the pavement that we're dealing with, something what we call urban heat islands. So it even feels hotter in city cores during these heat waves than maybe somewhere else. We'll be tracking the heat wave and let you know when that cold front moves through to cool us down. Stay with us at the Weather Network. Well, there's never a dull day in my line of work because the weather is constantly changing, and that's what we have, more pattern changes and more storms focused in one area and maybe not in another. So let's dig into it a little. We have a trough moving through the southern Alberta region. Pleasant conditions right up through the prairies and into northwestern Ontario today, and it's been hot and muggy. A big air mass, hot and sticky air mass moving in from the Gulf of Mexico has been the trend the last few days, and that has been creating an unstable environment. I'll explain why that's important coming up. But take a look at this. This was when in the prairies. But joining me now is Doug Gillum, who happens to be my teacher from Mississippi State University, on set with me. Doug, thanks for coming on as a meteorologist behind the scene. I want to chat with you a little bit about the setup for Ontario because all eyes are on Ontario next for severe weather. Right.
Well, we've had a busy night tonight already, and we are in a multi-day event. Tomorrow we're going to see a large area with a thunderstorm threat. The focus tomorrow, though, shifts to the northwest, northwestern Ontario, around Thunder Bay, back to Kenora, where we expect storms to produce the potential for large hail, strong gusty winds, and a lot of rain. We have a very tropical air mass in place.
And then, of course, we know that threat moves a little bit further south into southern Ontario for Friday. But what makes this setup different than, say, you know, our thunderstorms we've seen over the last 24 hours?
That's right. Well, everyone in southern Ontario knows it is very humid out there. It's been very warm, and now we have an unusually strong cold front coming through. So a big contrast between air masses and a strong jet stream. And that front is going to push through southern Ontario on Friday, bringing widespread thunderstorms and the threat for strong gusty winds and very heavy downpours, and then relief on the weekend.
There we go. You heard it from Doug. We have a cool down in store. There'll be more of that on the Weather Network. Stay with us.